Well, we've been talking a lot about this lately, artificial intelligence, and some say it'll be great, others say they're a little concerned, some a lot concerned. How will it impact the workforce, and to what degree should we be worried, or should we be excited about it? Let's go to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Technology Engagement Senior VP Jordan Crenshaw for more. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
You know, in your report, in your study, you even say it's a balance, right? Because there are some people that are excited about the possibilities that AI could add to the workforce, and then there are others that are worried that this might be detrimental or could even take my job. How do you manage that balance, and what are the expectations in the future?
Well, what we're finding is that AI is a transformative technology, and nearly everyone is using AI. And whether that's using AI to get directions on your phone, or finding out which movie is more likely one you want to watch on your streaming service. But even more importantly, AI is actually helping radiologists and doctors diagnose and develop cancer treatments faster. But there are concerns out there with any new technology. For example, there are concerns about the workforce, as you mentioned. And that's one of the reasons why the U.S. Chamber of Commerce last year started its bipartisan AI commission led by former Congressman John Delaney and Mike Ferguson. And just recently, they released a final report of recommendations, and what they found is that AI is best positioned to fill gaps in the workforce and not replace it. And some of the recommendations that the commission made included curriculum changes to K through 12 education to ensure that students are thinking about and knowing how to use technology more quickly in their lives, making more investments in retraining and reskilling. And finally, there are issues that we need to address now in terms of talent to compete globally. And it's one reason why we need to reform our H-1B visa process.
And I think that it's the point that you made is a very good one. And it's that delicate balance there between filling gaps in the workplace and replacing the workplace in some cases. And I think that's what has some people concerned, right, is that everybody wants to make sure that while this could enhance their job, it doesn't replace their job. What do you see happening? Because obviously with the chamber, you look at the workforce as a whole. What do you see happening in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, in terms of the workforce, when we had our commission meetings where we actually heard from the public, we actually had a hearing out in California, and we brought in folks from places like the Teamsters and labor unions and the ACLU. And even the labor unions said to us in those public meetings that they're not concerned about cataclysmic job loss, that there's going to be change in the labor market, but it's not going to be job loss on a massive scale. And that's why it's so critically important that we follow the recommendations that the AI Commission made to get the workforce ready for the new jobs of the future, and not worry about some of the outlandish concerns that AI is going to replace jobs.
One of the flashpoints that AI gets is just how rapidly the technology advances, and we're really just starting to scratch the surface. Like you said, on the positive with medical technology, we're hearing a lot about how that could benefit people. Because the technology can change so rapidly and advance so quickly, will you continue to revisit the type of study that you recently commissioned?
So the U.S. Chamber is going to continue to monitor, but also take leadership in addressing changes and the advancements of technology. And one of the areas the AI Commission looked at as the technology is more rapidly developing is ensuring that we have regulations in place that are flexible and also risk-based. So we don't cut off innovation, but we also still protect individuals at the same time. So that's why it's important that we need to have a flexible approach that works for both individuals and business.
Yeah, the regulation is obviously going to be a key point, and right now, even today, we're seeing tech leaders at the White House as they get briefed there. I think the tech leaders might have one viewpoint, maybe the business community another, but when it comes to regulation, it's, again, tough to tell where we end up a few years from now, but how strict should that be? What are you looking for, I guess, as far as what that regulation might include?
Well, it's encouraging that business today is actually meeting at the White House and is voluntarily committing to show that they're trying to develop trustworthy artificial intelligence. But at the same time, there are concerns that sometimes regulatory agencies may see that they have authorities that they don't have. So we would remind agencies like the FTC that these companies that are making commitments today are actually operating in good faith and really trying to develop trustworthy AI. But at the same time, here's the thing, too. Congress, if it finds that agencies don't have the authority to address challenges that need regulation. They need to do an inventory of where they can actually develop new laws, but do it in a risk-based manner that doesn't cut off innovation at the start.
Yeah, we keep saying the future is coming. The future is here right now. Just a lot of questions as to where it goes and how quickly it gets to the next level. I appreciate you joining us this morning from the U.S. Chamber. Senior VP Jordan Crenshaw with a few answers for us this morning. Thanks so much for your time.